You step outside after a night of rain and it's a massacre. Your lettuce skeletonized, your spinach gone, and glistening across the soil, slug slime trails that spell one word: invasion. But what if I told you that this year's slug explosion isn't just annoying, it's predictable and it's beatable? Every gardener has their moment of despair. I've had mine, but in the last few years, I've tested everything from old folklore to lab-tested techniques, and today I'm laying it all out. Not a top 5 list, not a 10-minute shortcut. This is the ultimate slug control guide. So if you're tired of the myths, the wasted money, and feeling like you're always one rain away from disaster, you're in the right place. And to make sure that you can take this into the garden with you, I've completed a free downloadable cheat sheet that you'll find linked below. It has every strategy, every tip, every timeline, all in one spot so you don't miss it. Later in the video, I'll reveal one natural predator that can single-handedly flip the script in your garden if you're willing to use it. But to understand how to truly beat this battle, we need to understand how the enemy thinks. Because this isn't random. This is a biological ambush timed to the weather and the terrain. So let's start with what's really happening underneath your garden beds and why this might be the worst slug season in decades. Here's the first thing most people don't realise. You don't have a slug problem. You have a slug timing problem. And once you see the pattern, you'll never garden the same way again. Slugs are not random wanderers. They're patient predators. Biological time bombs that wait for the perfect moment. During drought, they vanish, but they're not gone. They've burrowed down, curled up beneath the timbers, under cool rocks, shadows, and laid hundreds of eggs, sometimes thousands of translucent eggs. Those eggs are like sleeper agents. They'll sit in wait for weeks or even months, perfectly still until the first deep rain. The first soaking rain doesn't just water your plants, it hatches a generation of garden raiders. Overnight, your quiet beds erupt into chaos. You're not imagining destruction, it's a single slug life cycle in force. Now, here's something most people get completely wrong. Not all slugs are villains. In fact, out of the 40+ species in the UK and dozens more across North America, only a handful are true crop killers. The rest are compost workers, debris eaters, and even cannibals. Later on, I'll show you exactly which slug species to target and how to identify them in seconds using just one trick. Hint, their tails tell the truth. This whole life cycle from hiding to hatching to havoc is mapped out in the free cheat sheet linked below. Print it and you'll never be caught off guard again. And here's the mental shift. Your job isn't to wage war on every slug. That's exhausting and unnecessary. Your job is to understand when the wave is coming and intercept it with smart timing and the right targets. And to do that, we first need to cut through all the noise. So let's bust some of the biggest slug myths that cost gardeners more time, money and plants than anything else. Let's be honest, if you've ever felt like you were doing everything right and still losing the battle, you're not alone. You've been set up because most slug control advice online is either outdated, misinterpreted, or completely made up. So let's clear the fog. I'm going to rapid fire through the most popular slug myths that waste your time and money so that you can stop doing what feels good and start doing what actually works. Myth 1, crushed eggshells. Sounds brutal, right? Sharp shards deter slugs. Wrong. Slugs are slime machines. They ramp up mucus production and slide right over the eggshells like it's a water slide. And even worse, fresh eggshells with a membrane can actually attract slugs looking for calcium or protein. You might be feeding the enemy. Myth 2, coffee grounds. Yes, caffeine is toxic to slugs, but only in lab level concentration. Used grounds barely register. They're more useful in your compost than as a barrier. Myth 3, salt barriers. Salt kills slugs, but it kills even more. Every time you lay down a salt line, you're salting the earth, literally. Plants' roots, worms and microbes suffer long after the slugs are gone. Myth 4, bark, mulch and sawdust or sand. Dry materials sound great until it rains. Then they become moist slug hotels. Studies show that mulched areas can host more slugs than bare soil in wet climates. Myth 5, copper tape. Yes, slugs get mild electric tingle, but it's not foolproof. Thin, tarnished or broken copper strips are useless. If a single leaf bridges the barrier, the slugs will take the high road. Myth 6, garlic sprays and herbal oils. Natural repellents can mask scent, sure, but the moment it rains or you water your garden, they're gone. They're temporary at best and ineffective at worst. So if the classics don't work, what does? In the next section, I'll show you how to trap, block and bait slugs with ruthless precision. But not the way you've been told to do it. You'll learn how to set traps that actually work, and the one bait type that's so irresistible, slugs line up for it like a Michelin star buffet. And remember all those myth-busting details? The actual methods that work are laid out in the free cheat sheet link below. Download it so that you can reference it before you waste another evening spreading coffee grounds in vain. You're not failing, you've just been fighting with rubber swords. Let's get you a real weapon. Now that we've cleared out the myths, let's load up on what actually works. Not theory and not fluff. Just real-world tactics that stop slugs fast, cheap and without nuking your soil. Some of these are ancient, others are more modern hacks. Most people don't use them right until now. Number 1, beer traps the right way. This is the most famous trick, but 95% of people do it wrong. A shallow dish, that's wrong. Random beer gives you weak results. Here's how to do it right. Use a deep-sided yogurt cup or a tall ramekin. Slugs fall in and don't crawl out. Bury them so the rim is flush with soil surface. Slugs don't climb, they slide in. Use stale, dark beer, it's more aromatic. Or better, mix water and baker's yeast and sugar. It's a cheap and potent solution. Place traps 10 to 12 feet apart in the garden's perimeter, not just near your plants. And don't just set one and forget it. These are tools, not silver bullets. Reset every 2 to 3 days. And cover over with a ridge tile or box to prevent rain watering down the bait. Number 2, the night board method. This is a zero-cost method using simple boards, planks or upturned flower pots. How it works: lay a wooden board or slate tiles near the garden beds at dusk. In the morning, flip them over. Slugs seek the shade, so they gather underneath those at night. Then collect and remove or dispose. We'll show humane and predator-based options later. Think of these as slug magnets that localize the problem. Number 3, the slug fence. If you want to go hands-off long-term, consider building or buying angled slug fences made of galvanized metal or copper. Slugs can't climb inward over a bent rim. These are great for raised beds, especially if you've got consistent pressure and want to isolate high-value crops. Number 4, barriers that actually work with limitations. Lava rock, diatomaceous earth, works only when dry, good for pots, poor for open beds. Wool pellets. Slugs hate the texture, but breaks down too fast in wet climates. Copper mesh, a thick, clean, full circle. It's still viable if used with no gaps and kept clean of soil bridges. Remember, no barriers work in isolation. You're not trying to build Fort Knox, you're building a funnel that guides slugs where you want them. Number 5, the slug funnel strategy, combo tactic. Here's the next level trick. Combine barriers, traps, shade boards in a planned pattern that leads your slugs towards your traps. Lay low cardboard trails that create shady slug highways. They'll naturally travel them all night. At the end of each trail, set your trap. That's slug psychology weaponized. But what if I told you didn't even have to lift a finger? There's a living creature that you can introduce to your garden that will hunt slugs for you even underground. I'll show you exactly what it is, where to get it and how to use it, coming up next. If you're trying to remember ratios, layouts, setups, don't stress. The cheat sheet below has everything visualized step by step. Just print it, take it to the garden and win the war. These methods don't just reduce slugs, they shift the power back to you. They're visible, tactical, satisfying, and now it's time to unleash nature's own slug assassin. What if I told you the most effective slug killer isn't a trap, a spray or salt line? It's alive. It doesn't crawl, it doesn't leave slime, it operates underground, and once released it hunts slugs silently 24/7. Introducing Phasmatidis hermaphrodita. aka the slug-killing nematode. What it is and how it works. These microscopic worms are naturally found in soil, but in low numbers. When introduced in high concentrations, they enter slugs through the skin, release bacteria and kill them from the inside out in just a few days. Yes, it's brutal, but real effective. The slug often hides underground as it dies. That's why you won't always see bodies, just a quiet reduction in damage. It's like hiring an invisible army. Is it safe? Yes, 100% safe for pets, kids, birds, bees and your soil health. No chemicals, no runoff, no residue. And it only targets specific slug and snail species. How to use it? You can order it online. It's sold under names like Slug or Slug Gone in the UK and US. Apply in the early spring or late summer when soil is moist. Ideal temps are 10 to 25 C or 50 to 77 Fahrenheit. Mix with water into soil and that's it. Don't let them dry out or sit in sunlight. They're alive. And timing is key. These nematodes are most effective before a slug boom, when juvenile slugs are just surfacing. You want to hit that population curve early. That's when the win condition is. If you're watching this mid-season and wondering if it's too late, don't panic. I've mapped out an application timing windows and nematode sources by region in the cheat sheet below. Download it now and you'll know exactly when and how to deploy them. Bonus predator, the Hedgehog Alliance. In the UK and parts of Europe, hedgehogs are slug-eating machines. If you're lucky enough to have them near your garden, consider building a simple ground-level hedgehog tunnel in your fences. Avoid slug pellets that could harm or repel them. Leaving a small pile of dry leaves or log shelters. Frogs and toads. Slugs are a major food source for toads and frogs. If you've got a pond, even a shallow container water garden, you've got potential allies. Create cool shaded ground areas and don't over sterilize your yard. Now if you're thinking, wait, can I combine all of this? Yes, you can. And when you do, slugs don't stand a chance. In the next section, I'll walk you through the integrated slug control plan, the one I use, the one I've shared with dozens of gardeners, and the one that gives you your evenings back. So let's bring it all together. You've seen the science, you know the myths. Now here's the exact layered system I use, and it's why I haven't had a serious slug outbreak in over 3 years. Number 1, anticipate the hatch. Start checking slug numbers after the first warm rains of the spring or autumn. Look for slime trails, bite marks on seedlings, and slugs under shaded boards. Remember, you're not reacting, you're predicting. That's how you win. Number 2, set passive traps. Deploy beer traps along your garden's entry points and crop clusters. Use nighttime boards or cardboard shelters as slug magnets. Check them and empty them each morning like clockwork. Number 3, install smart barriers. Use wood pellets or thick copper rings around pots and small beds. For heavy pressured zones, build angle-ironed metal slug fences or isolate with slug collars. Don't try to protect everything. Protect your high-value crops first. Step 4, deploy your biological army. In early spring or late summer, apply nematodes to moist soil. Combine with frog and hedgehog friendly garden practices, water features, shade, no toxins. This is your autopilot layer. Once set up, it works while you sleep. Number 5, funnel the enemy. Lay shaded trails towards traps using cardboard or low logs. Clear alternative shelters near vulnerable crops so slugs follow your design. This tactic turns your entire layout into a slug funnel. They follow the path, fall right into your trap. Number 6, rotate, refine and repeat. Slug pressure changes with the seasons, moisture and temperature. Every few weeks, rotate your traps and barriers, clean copper, check nematode effectiveness. This isn't a set and forget plan. It's a dynamic garden rhythm and it gets easier every single year. Everything I've just walked through, the tools, the spacing, the timing charts, it's all in the Ultimate Slug Control sheet below. It's printable, skimmable, and it's going to save your garden months of frustration. Click the link, download it, and put it in your shed, your journal, or your greenhouse. But before we wrap up, there's one mistake even experienced gardeners make that undoes all their slug control work without them even realising it. And in the next section, I'll show you exactly what it is and how to avoid it for good. If you've made it this far, you're already ahead of most gardeners. You've got the strategy, the tools and the timing. But there's one mistake I still see even in expert gardens, and it's not about what you do to stop slugs, it's about what you forget to do when they're gone. Here it is. Most gardeners focus on defence, but the moment slugs disappear, they let their guard down. The traps go away, the boards get tossed, the barriers rot, and just below the soil, the next generation is already forming. Slugs are like weeds. If you stop managing them, they return stronger. That's the real trap, thinking it's over when it's actually just the off-season. The fix? Create a slug maintenance rhythm. It's not a battle, it's a garden habit. The rhythm of prevention. Keep one trap running year round. Reapply nematodes on a seasonal schedule. Rotate barriers during rainy weeks. Track what worked each season. Keep the cheat sheet printed and visible, your seasonal reminder. Don't wait for damage to get serious again. Stay one step ahead and gardening becomes joyful once again. Slug nematodes can be expensive, especially if you have a large garden. But what if you could make your own for free? That's exactly what I show you how to do in this video. So if you want to save money and protect your plants, that's where you should go next. Be sure to download the free cheat sheet. I'm Tony O'Neill and this is Simplified Gardening. I will see you there.